Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, gamers, non gamers, casuals, professionals, sweats, and cheaters, I hope you all are having a swell day. Yes, even the cheaters, I hope you're all having a swell day. Hopefully, your New Year's was good. Hopefully, your holiday season was good. And let's hope that 2025 is going to be pretty good. But, sweats, it won't be for you. Your day of reckoning is coming. Not because anything Call of Duty is doing, just your day of reckoning is coming. Anyway, today's video I want to talk about my ideas. What needs to happen? What needs to happen? Not my ideas. What needs to happen to fix Call of Duty? Okay, there are several things that happen and several things that are making Call of Duty not a fun experience anymore. Okay? And these are just a couple of things that I've seen and you know, I'm going to give my 2 cents. Not that anybody asked for, not that anybody even knows who I am. Eventually they will know. Eventually they will know. Okay, the biggest thing, I've brought it up a couple times now, and it's something I can't let go just because of how big of a company that Call of Duty and Activision, especially Activision, is when it comes to it. And it's not like Call of Duty is their only game. They have other games that support them massively, like WoW, okay? World of Warcraft is a huge game for Activision, for Blizzard, for all of it. Like, they're all tied together, okay? It's the thing that pisses me off the most is the tick rate on the server. Okay, Nade Shot brought this up. I didn't know this was a thing, and now that I do know it's a thing, it is really pissing me off seeing just how bad and terrible this shit is. Okay, so Nade Shot, when he talked about it, and the tick rate, basically what it is, it's how many back and forth pings are happening between you, the player, and the server. Okay, the higher the tick rate, the more accurate to what you're doing in game is going to be, the better everything is, right? And he pointed out that Valorant currently has the highest at 128. Okay, so Valorant is the best multiplayer game as far as what the player does versus what happens on screen. Call of Duty multiplayer, which I'm playing here in the video for you guys, is 20. You're telling me Valorant is 6 times higher? Valorant is a free game that has only been out for a few years, made by Riot Games, and you're going to tell me that Call of Duty, which has been the number one, or used to be, one of the biggest arcade first person shooter games out there with a massive player base that it has, only has a tick rate of 20 between what happens in server and what happens like with the player to what happens in server. And Warzone is 10 to 15. It's 10 to 15 in that moment. That's horrible. How are you going to tell me that a game, a free to play game, is 6 to 10 times better in this one area? And people have complained about Call of Duty servers for such a long time. You think it's something that they would fix, and you think it's something they would invest in. I am fully convinced. I am fully convinced, okay, that Call of Duty is not the companies that they sign are not real companies. Ricochet is not a real company. I 100% guarantee that Ricochet is not a real company. It is a fake company that they put out. Okay, it is a fake company they put out to make us feel that they're working on anti-cheat. They have all these other fake companies that don't actually do anything, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, I could go on about this for fucking ever. All right, but how many times have we all had problems? Server latency, server packet loss. I've had polarization happen to me in the fucking game. Like, it is bad. And here's the thing, every year there's always new problems with the servers and all that. How? I don't understand how you have so many server problems on a game that just continuously it's just the same it's the same thing. And that goes into my next point of improving optimization. Okay? You have to improve the optimization of the game. Call of Duty can become such a better game if we just simply optimize if the game got optimized better. Okay, I'm not saying I want them their tick rate to go up to 128 like Valorant. Okay, it honestly should. We shouldn't expect anything less. But 64, half of that. If you gave Call of Duty servers a tick rate of 60 to 80, even 50, okay, you would see such a huge dramatic change in the player base. You'd see such a huge dramatic change in the player and how the game is. I think, I personally think that maybe they've done their testing and maybe they realize, oh my God, this isn't what the player base wants. Okay. But besides that, optimize the game better. Optimize, and I'm not saying get into making the games like better and all that good jazz. What as far as that, I'm just saying as far as what happens with the player, make the experience better. The experience needs to be better. I don't care how bad the maps are, how bad the guns are and everything, but if the game runs better and smoother and just goes just better in general, you'll be Gucci. Okay. And to do that, we get into my third point of dropping the graphical needs of the game, dropping the hardware needs of the game. There's no reason Call of Duty, I should be able to, I have a 4060 Ti in my current computer. Okay. The 5000 series is not out yet. Okay. A 4060 should be able to run a simple arcade first person shooter style game that is Call of Duty easily, easily at max settings. I should be pushing 180 frames. Like, you can't tell me that I went from pushing 200 plus frames, if not 240 frames, on last year's COD, Modern Warfare 3 2023, to now only be pushing 130 frames. You cannot, like, the graphical needs of Call of Duty games needs to be studied and it needs to be gotten rid of. Look at Fortnite, look at Rainbow Six Siege, look at Valorant again. Okay, these are games that, now Rainbow Six Siege is pretty good details. That's a bad example. That is a really bad example that I'm bringing up right there. Scratch that. I started to go on a tangent of other things, not the graphical needs. But Fortnite and Valorant are two games that do not need a whole lot. You don't need a whole lot. Okay? I can push 300 frames on Fortnite. Okay? That's actually great. The hardest part about Fortnite is the the distance view. That is the hardest thing when it comes to that game, right? But this game here, there's no reason for COD to be as large of a game as it is, uh to my memory, to my hard drive. There's no reason it should be as physical, as demanding on my system as it needs to be. Lower your fucking shit. I swear to God, in 2019, okay, 2019, I promise you, that's when Call of Duty started getting like crazy, like download sizes, okay? And it was simply because if we take up all their memory space, they won't have any other game to play. So they'll be forced to play our game. I fully believe that. Okay. But we don't need the crazy graphical needs. Okay. Drop the graphical needs. 2019 was perfectly fine. 2022 was perfectly fine. Okay. We can drop back the graphical needs to like what 2018's Call of Duty looked like. What was 2018 Call of Duty? Was that Black Ops 4? That Black Ops 4? Okay, and just speaking of like that kind of stuff, real quick, the color palette of Black Ops 6 is absolutely horrible. I'm seeing pink and like yellow on the map and shit, and it's not registering to me that that's an enemy player. Like, I just don't see it for fucking shit. All right, but the old point that I want to get into as far as fixing the game goes, my ideas of fixing the game, and it's gonna sound simple, but I'll explain it. It's go back to how the old games did. Okay, one of the things about the old games when Call of Duty was at its peak, okay, Call of Duty was at its peak. You didn't have tax sprint, you didn't have all these like abilities and whatnot, but just the way the game felt. Now, part of like what I'm gonna get into is it is the map design, it is the spawn system of the maps, which makes it not good. Okay. We don't have to be engaged in a fight every 5 seconds game. We can literally, it's okay for us to go about 10 seconds without getting into a gunfight. I don't need to have a gunfight. I don't need to have 10 gunfights in a minute, if that makes sense. That's why the maps are so small. That's why this and that. And here's the thing, if the maps are so small, why the fuck is it taking up so much goddamn fucking space on my computer? All these maps are tiny, but it's taking up so much more space than any other game. It makes no sense. I'm not going to go on my rant a little bit too much. I have another video coming out here shortly. Make sure you guys look out for that one. Like, subscribe to this one. But the video that's coming out here shortly, excuse me, I'm burping. I'm going to really get into what Call of Duty should do, how they should do things. And one of the things that they should do, just to give you guys a little teaser to it, is a redistributing the games. I'll explain that in the next video. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.